We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, a Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundary, working toward creating a global spiritual community rooted in profound love, which cultivates wonder, imagination, and the courage to act. Adapting to the COVID-19 pandemic has been difficult for many bricks and mortar congregations. Early on in the pandemic, we were in a unique position to assist many congregations with the transition. We hosted special episodes of The View, provided advice and counseling to religious professionals, and trained congregations for live streaming worship, all while providing robust online programming for our members. From worship to covenant groups, from classes to pastoral care, and from our monthly magazine to our letter writing ministry, we have found ways to build connection and community even through the screen. We have been a model for ministry on the margins, providing services for isolated Unitarian Universalists, becoming a spiritual lifeline for our members in prison, and investing in innovative ministry. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance. Unitarian Universalists have faced many challenges in these times, and we continue to persevere and to fight for justice and equity for all people, especially during moments of crisis. We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Larger Fellowship.
Hello!
Hi!
Welcome back, everyone, to Iron CLF Chef.
Yay! Welcome back. Happy almost new year. Happy end of what year is it? 2022? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. But what is it supposed to feel like, Michael? It's March. What did you say? 9,222?
I look it up. How many days has it been since March 1st? Yeah, it's something like the 1,000th of March. So, welcome to Iron CLF Chef. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Michael Tino, 1/3 of your lead ministry team, coming to you from Peekskill, New York, where it is dark and wintry here at 8:01 p.m. Eastern Time.
Well, I'm Seattle, Washington. I'm Aisha Hauser, and I am third of the three parts of the lead ministry team, and of course, our colleague Chris Rivera is the third. And it is dark at 5:01 p.m. here in the Pacific Northwest, on the land of the Duwamish, the Coast Salish people. So, very excited for today's Iron CLF Chef. Very excited.
And this year, we're doing something super new. We're cooking live for you all. The food is not ready yet. We are not cutting the video. Like, if one of us starts a fire in our kitchen, you're gonna get to see it. It's so we're coming to you live with our secret ingredient here in battle, ginger. Aisha, you want to tell folks how this became our secret ingredient?
So we had put to the staff a list of ingredients, and everyone got a chance to vote. And ginger I have some cut up and peeled and some unpeeled. So ginger was the ingredient. We found out yesterday? We didn't have much
yesterday.
Yesterday. So, and ginger, thankfully, I mean, I didn't even have to buy any. I had that in my fridge. I had crystallized ginger, I had powdered ginger. So ginger, I think you too, Michael, right? We probably had ginger because we're both cooks.
I went out and bought a fresh hand of ginger.
Gotcha.
I did, because I wanted it to be fresh. I do have crystallized ginger in my house most of the time, and we'll be using that too. But we found out yesterday, and Battle Ginger, the staff of CLF voted from a list of ingredients that did not include sardines.
I wanted sardines.
The fix was in.
It wasn't, because when I looked and saw the vote, I did not see sardines, which was my suggestion, because that would have, Michael, it would have added to the fun, don't you think, friend?
It certainly would have been fun. It certainly would have been fun because I have never cooked a sardine in my 45 years of cooking. So it would have been a whole lot of fun. Luckily, ginger, unlike last year's ingredient, kumquats, is also really easy to find fresh in stores. So any good grocery store is going to have nice fresh ginger this time of year. So.
Are we revealing now what we're making, Michael?
Sure. So so I will be making a ginger pear apple crumble. Crisp or crumble? It has no oats. Which one is that? Crisp. I think that makes it a crisp. I think it has to have oats to be a crumble.
I didn't even know that. I learned. I was today years old. I didn't know there was a difference.
Someone out there in CLF land will set us on the right path.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I had no idea there's a difference between a crisp and a crumble. So thank you for that. I learned it. So I had a long day at work, and I am, I kind of thought to myself, what can I make for this challenge with ginger? And I have leftover rice. I have a couple of stalks of asparagus. I have garlic. I have an egg, and I have ginger. So I'm going to put together a fried rice that is inspired by a recipe I saw Anthony Bourdain do many, many years ago. And I need to get some sesame oil also. So, and I've made it when I've just needed to throw something together. It's super delicious. So that's my ginger, my contribution to the not so secret ingredient, the main ingredient.
Not secret anymore. So, you're cooking for dinner time out there on the West Coast too. So you're probably going to have it for dinner.
Yes.
I figured, having now done this battle twice with you, that you were going savory because that's like your wheelhouse as a chef. So I'm going with dessert to complement. Because we're a team, and my crisp or whatever it is has both Washington State Granny Smith apples and New York State Macintosh apples that Eric, Nora, and I picked at the apple orchard a couple miles from our house. So so it combines the best of our two locations.
Yay!
Into one dish. Is it all right if I go ahead and stick stuff?
Please, yeah. I'm gonna. So one year I was watching. I don't know. Maybe it was a YouTube because I don't really watch that much TV. Everything's on YouTube and streaming. So whatever YouTube I saw, and I don't know what show Anthony Bourdain was on, but he was like, "Here's a quick way to make fried rice." He, which is what I'm going to do. He minced it. I don't know how to mince anything without an actual mincer. So when I'm just cutting, I cut it into teeny tiny, as small as I can get it, like little chunks of ginger. I don't know if you could see little.
Nice.
And then garlic, and then you fry it. And then I could take the garlic and the ginger off. I will, and then fry the egg, and then put it on top of the rice that I have to.
In the ginger garlic oil.
And then sesame oil. I'm gonna hold on. I forgot to take out the sesame. I'm walking away, but I'm here, and I'm gonna get the.
Well, I'm gonna say while Aisha's gone that I decided to grate my ginger. I took a nice big knob of ginger and I grated it because I love ginger. I love fresh ginger. I'm really hoping I'm gonna stick it in my bowl of sliced up apples and pears right now, and get that mixed up. I'm hoping that it lends a beautiful spicy note to these apples and pears. But one of the things I do not like are the strings that come in ginger.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I do not want these strings in my crisp. So so grating it takes the kind of pulp off the strings, and that's not going in the dessert, which is good. I'm gonna put in some cinnamon, some fresh nutmeg, and a little bit of cardamom, and some brown sugar too.
Yum.
Cardamom was almost the secret ingredient.
That was another good one. I think that got a couple of votes.
Maybe next year, because there are so many beautiful, wonderful things, so many cuisines around the world that use cardamom because it grows in lots of places, and those places were colonized by by other places. So
Hello. I discovered black cardamom, which is one of the flavor. Oh, yum!
That's going into a buttered dish. Black cardamom. You were
Black
saying?
cardamom is one of the along with star anise is a few of the things you put in when making pho broth. PHO, the pho broth.
Mm-hmm.
And I found black cardamom here in Seattle, and obviously star anise, and I made kind of a pho inspired. It wasn't authentic pho, but it was pho, and it tasted pho-like, which I was thrilled about because I love pho.
Yeah.
The broth. And here in Seattle, a lot of the pho places have some pretty clever names. One of them is What the Pho, which is, of course, my favorite. What the Pho. Mm-hmm. I should write them down. I noticed them and then I forget, but they're pretty funny. They're all clever. Is that a pun? Why don't I know that?
I guess it's a pun.
That's a pun, right? Pho, the pho.
So for the topping of mine, I mixed flour and brown sugar, and I am going to put in crystallized ginger, which is one of my very favorite things, into the topping, and chopped pecans.
Oh.
Because why not? I had them in the closet, right?
I mean.
And butter, because it is butter is the only not vegan ingredient in this. So like you could use some coconut oil or
there you go.
Your favorite Earth Balance spread or whatever to make this crisp completely vegan. I thought about using coconut oil because, and then I would have put probably some shredded coconut in it.
Oh,
right? Pears and coconut and ginger.
Delish. That would be, and you know what's funny? I have shredded coconut in my house right now. See, if you were within walking distance, I sure do.
I do too.
Yeah. You could put it in; it would be delish.
Here you go.
I love it. See, that's hilarious. That's so great.
So this is what the topping looks like all mixed together.
Oh, nice.
And the crystallized ginger just smells fantastic. And I'm going to put this on top and stick it in the oven. Let these pears cook down and let this top get crispy.
This is not very exciting, but it's the garlic and ginger. I'm going to put it in a plate before it burns and cook the other stuff.
So before the oven?
Oh, gorgeous.
Put it in the 350-degree oven. And I'll describe how my house smells.
So yum.
I imagine your house smells delicious too now that garlic and ginger are in hot bowl.
So delicious.
Yeah.
Got the rice in here now. Here sizzling.
Yes, we do.
Actually, let me put light. Tanner has visited me, so Tanner knows this kitchen. Our folks live, Tanner.
So while we're waiting for this to drink, I took I squeezed a lemon onto the apple so that they wouldn't get brown, and took the leftover lemon and about half the hand of ginger and chopped it up and stuck it in water and just let it simmer for about 2 hours and added some honey to that, and I'm enjoying that.
Oh my God.
Nice lemon ginger beverage.
Delicious. So our friend and CLF affiliate minister gave me a tea, Reverend Deanna Vandiver, a tea. That is what it's called. So every day is a different tea, and the calendar comes with a, one of these with a thingy to make tea.
Nice.
So it was fun because I gave them Dee and her partner a bon maman.
Oh, the jellies?
Yes, the jellies.
You know, it's so funny. One of the highlights for me of the Advent season is the number of my friends who get those, and then every day post about the jelly and kind of review them in the most hysterical way.
Fun. I haven't done that. That's a good idea.
And I just think I cannot imagine getting up every morning and wanting to eat jelly for 24 days. I'm just not that kind of person, but getting up every morning and seeing what my friends think of the jelly of the day is totally worth it.
That's adorable.
Really,
I don't follow any of the days. Like I got the Advent calendar before December 1, and I had the tea already. I don't, you know me. I go to the beat of my own. Whatever instrument's playing in my head. I wouldn't even say drummer.
you could review the teas every day.
So let's see. I'm gonna cut up now. So the rice is done. So the thing is, I'm gonna do it like layered. So not quite. The Bourdain recipe had just plain white rice and a fried egg sunny side up, and then he put the garlic and ginger on top with some sesame oil and a little soy sauce. So I'm going to cut up a green onion, cut up some asparagus, saute them, and put them on the rice to make it.
Because Anthony didn't eat vegetables, but most people do.
Did he really not? I never read his book. I didn't watch he didn't eat vegetables?
I'm sure he did. He ate everything, as far as I know.
Listen, I read, actually, she may have been interviewed. Julia Child went to McDonald's. She's like, listen, their food is good. She lived to what, 96? So when people start putting down McDonald's, I'm like, listen, Julia Child went there and she knew good food. So who knows? The chefs, they eat whatever they want.
And who was going to say, excuse me, Miss Child, you can't eat that?
I mean, who's going to start telling her?
No.
I mean, come on. She enjoyed life that one.
Put up with that.
Yeah.
So you sauteed the garlic and the ginger.
So that I did first. So this is in here.
Okay, there we go. I see.
It's just I did it together, and then the rice I did separate, leftover rice, and then now I'm throwing in some ginger. Green onion. I don't have patience when I chop, so I don't know if you could see. It's just big pieces of green onion and some asparagus.
Nice.
Because even when you're supposed to mince stuff, unless I use an actual mincer, I'm a hot mess. Like I can't. It's too annoying to me. I don't have patience to chop at all.
And then you're gonna fry an egg and put
Then I'm going to the last sunny side up, fry an egg, and then cook it, as much as I want, and then put it on top of everything. And I like the egg yolk a little loose. And then I'll put the garlic and ginger on top and some soy sauce and sesame oil. And that's dinner.
That sounds super yummy.
Yeah, apple crisp and apple pie and all things apple baked is one of my favorites. Like when people ask me for my birthday, do I want cake? I'm like, I want apple pie or apple crumb. I like baked apple. I like that always above cake.
Yeah, Nora's favorite is apple pie, and I make it basically at Thanksgiving. And she's like, "You gonna make apple pie again next year?" I'm like,
okay. Do you know the book Sister Pie, the bakery? Excuse me. Speaking about friends posting stuff during the pandemic, so Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt kept posting these amazing pies. I'm like, what is happening? And then she said, oh, this is from Sister Pie. You can't. And I went on trying to get these pies fully cooked and mailed to Seattle, and they were like, no, that's not a thing. So I bought the book, and during the pandemic, I made several recipes phenomenal. And one of them was aged Gouda and apple pie. It was aged Gouda in the crust. Oh my gosh. And apple pie, and I think rosemary was in it. And they have really amazing flavors. Oh, so good. Highly recommend if you
like. So it's a cookbook called Sister Pie.
The bakery's called Sister Pie, and they have a cookbook. Yeah. I don't know where
I'm sure I will own that very soon.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And it's been one of my favorite cookbooks. And like I said, when we were all in lockdown, I made quite a few things from it. And it was super yum. Okay, so now I'm going to make the egg. Maybe you'll hear the sizzle.
Well, while we're thinking about cooking, I have a story about crystallized ginger.
Oh, good.
Like, I don't know that I've ever told on Iron Chef CLF. One of the reasons I have it in the house all the time is because when I was growing up, we lived with my mother's aunt, Aunt Gutsy. We actually lived in her house because that's, what multi-generational families do.
Yep.
Right? So she was my grandmother's older sister, one of 5 sisters. She didn't have any children of her own, so she was basically a bonus grandmother to me, which was wonderful. And she lived downstairs, and we lived upstairs. And I would go downstairs most nights after dinner, and we watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy together, which was awesome before I did my homework and whatever. And she always had either black jelly beans or crystallized ginger.
Oh.
And at that point, it wasn't like you could just go to the neighborhood grocery store and buy a bucket of crystallized ginger. Right? We're talking this is like the mid 70s. So she would send my mother to the Chinese grocery stores, buy her ginger, and they weren't chunks like this. They were kind of flat, the way that they were crystallized.
Yes.
They were these kind of flat pieces of ginger. And we would just sit there watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy and eating crystallized ginger.
These are flat. Like these, because I think these came from the Asian market. They're flat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Yep.
The ones I got are like.
Oh, they're chunky. No, these are flat and thinner. Yeah.
And perfectly yummy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Super yum.
And I'm sure someone out there in CLF land will tell us why in the Asian markets you get flat ginger. And
my guess is, I don't know, and I hope someone tells us. Maybe it's easier for cooking the way in Asian, it's much more practical for cooking.
I don't know. And Gussie and I used to sit there and just rump away at it. And so it reminds me of I would sit on the floor in front of her recliner and watch game shows for an hour. And it was after dinner and before homework. That's your little glimpse into my childhood in Brooklyn.
Okay, I'm putting the finishing touches here. Should I send a picture with my phone, Tanner? I know it's done early, but not early, but not as. Okay, I'm going to show you in 1 second. I just got to add a little bit of soy sauce. Got to get it. Hold on. Oh, and I have to. I'm coming. Hold on 1 second. I didn't realize that the soy sauce was on my dining room table. And I found the Sister Pie book. So, okay. Oh, should I wait to do it? Wait for the crisp?
No, mine is in the oven for a while now.
Okay. So
you'll be lucky if it's done by the end of the show.
This
is really delicious.
This is my version of Anthony Bourdain's fried rice, and the ginger is strong in it because it's just chopped up with the garlic. So I'll take a picture with my phone. So it's basically the ginger pieces and the garlic. It's not. I think yours is gonna look better. This one's just kind of, it looks like fried rice. And so while I was over here, I found sister pie. And these are all the tags in it from all the recipes since I got this that I tried. So they are amazing. And it's one of my very favorite, one of my very favorite cookbooks of all time.
So do you grate the aged Gouda to put it into the crust?
Yes, exactly. So
it just sounds really good.
So good. And this one, okay, here's one of the ones I made. Strawberry pistachio crumble pie. Yum. Let's see what this one is. Apple sage Gouda pie. Sage.
We got fresh sage right out on the porch right now. It's covered in snow at the moment, but.
And to use Gouda, let's see, 1 disc aged Gouda pie dough. So there's a whole separate recipe for aged Gouda pie dough. I've made, they have a granola here. I actually haven't made the granola, so I think I put, that was aspirational. I did not end up making granola, but I've made, let's see what else. There's a strawberry pie in here that I've made. That's rhubarb rosemary streusel pie. What? So good. Yeah, this one. So yum. Yeah, this one.
I might get pies out of my berries out of my strawberry patch next year.
Oh, yum. Now, some of the things I haven't made: ginger peach biscuit pie. That would have been a good one. Ginger peach biscuit. Freshly grated ginger. Peaches. They don't have any other ginger. See, I would have added extra ginger.
You know, there's have you ever had Jenny's ice cream? Jeni?
I have not, but I know exactly what you're talking
about. Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, Jenny's has a peach buttermilk biscuit ice cream.
Yeah. That sounds delicious.
I bet some crystallized ginger on the peach buttermilk biscuit ice cream would be divine.
Oh, so good.
Well, listen, my crisp is in the oven, and I'm wondering if any of our folks out there have questions. Any questions for us? I should go into Facebook them and see.
I confuse myself when I start doing that with the computer. That I'm gonna.
People are really loving the fact that you love pie. I also love pie.
Oh, funny!
It's mostly wonderful people saying hello.
Oh, hello!
And Arian Babcock, former CLF Learning Fellow, is in there live, and Tracy Phillips, CLF member in Barbados, I believe. So, hi everyone. If you have questions, please let us know, because we have a little time while the crisp bakes and while Aisha eats her dinner.
Cookies, apple pie, apple crisp. You can actually use it in a lot of stuff. I think you can use it in savory dishes as well. I haven't. I've only baked with it. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I don't. I tend to just eat it.
Yes.
You know, so I cut it up and put it in the topping for this crisp. So I cut the little chunks into bits and mixed it with the brown sugar and the flour. But yeah, I bet it would be wonderful in cookies. You know, I bet it would be great in a stir fry if you just wanted a little bit of sweetness in there. You wouldn't want to use too much because it is sweet. Crystallized ginger is soaked in sugar, and the crystals on the outside are sugar. So I'm trying to think of, like, you could make some really good drinks. I've had some really good drinks with crystallized ginger, like lemon teeny kind of things with
Yeah.
and you could like really superb non-alcoholic drinks too. Like think about lemon or lime and some seltzer.
You can muddle it
And
maybe with maybe simple syrup, like muddle it,
you would
right?
even,
With some mint.
yeah.
Mm.
But I will say I don't usually cook with it. I usually buy it and sit there and eat it
Oh, yum.
because that's what Aunt Gussie taught me to do.
Mm, fun. My mother was only a good cook with Egyptian food. Anything else she tried to make was horrendous. But so I did watch her cook, but I took cooking classes at Belleville High School in New Jersey.
Nice.
And I tried to take vocational foods, but they wouldn't let me because my mom told them I had to go to college. It was a hot mess. I mean, I would have been a chef in another life. That's what I wanted to go to the Sorbonne. I wanted to take after Julia Child, and it just didn't happen. But I do love to cook. What about you, Michael?
Mostly my mother taught me to cook. She's a really outstanding cook. And you know, what she taught me was that it's learned to play in the kitchen,
Mm.
right? As long as her rules were, as long as the kitchen is just as clean when you leave it as when you walked in. And if
Oh,
you know
nice.
my mother, you know that you can eat off of any surface in her kitchen.
I love
So,
it.
but she taught me to play in the kitchen, and she taught me to feed myself. Like when I was growing up, I have a brother who's 1 year younger than I am, and we would make our own breakfasts in the morning, going to school. Like, and I'm talking when we were six and seven, kind of, and
Mhm.
we would make omelets and French toast, and like she like it was fine if we poured ourselves a bowl of cereal, but
Oh,
you
nice.
know she encouraged us to cook, which was great.
Yeah.
And my mother is not a dessert person. She is not a baker. She's but so good at everything else that I taught myself baking so that she could make the main dish and I could make the dessert. Um, and so I taught myself how to bake. And then when I was in college, I went to Cornell, which has a hotel school.
Mm-hmm.
And just for fun, I took culinary arts 101, which is like the basics of like food chemistry and like why things do what they do.
That's my
Um,
my dream right there, Michael.
and so it put like this theoretical knowledge on top of the practical knowledge that I had gained just from playing in the kitchen, which
Oh,
which is fun. I'll talk on Saturday at the cookie show about our very first assignment in that class, which was to bake chocolate chip cookies. And
oh, nice. I'm gonna be at Jingle All the gay burlesque show I go to every year here in Seattle. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna miss. Oh yeah, formerly known as Homo for the holidays. So Jingle All the Gay is one of the most delightful, beautiful things I do every year here in the city, and I just love it. And it's just a celebration of life and a liberatory space. The most amazing burlesque performers in the city. So I'm sorry I'm going to miss it live, but I will have to catch it after.
so Emily Jones is asking us, what is a cheap yet impressive thing you like to make?
Ooh.
That's a really good question, Emily Jones. A cheap yet impressive. Okay, so I will give you one. I don't know. Is it cheap? Cheap. That's a great question. I mean, you know, my roots are Italian, so I'm gonna go back to like impressive pasta dishes or lasagna because pasta and canned tomatoes are pretty cheap as ingredients go, and you can do magic with those things.
Yes. I make that cheap and impressive kushari. Kushari is, I've heard it called the national dish of East. It's a layer. So it's a layer of white rice. And it may, now, like lasagna, kushari, every family has its own recipe.
Mhm.
So it's, people have variations. So some people will have just plain white rice, lentils, and pasta on top with a spicy garlic sauce and fried onions.
Yum.
Some people, for the first layer, it'll be pasta with the thin noodles, the vermicelli noodles,
Mhm.
in the pasta, and then the lentils pretty much stay the same. Oh, some people cook the lentils with the pasta, with the rice, and then have the pasta and spicy garlic sauce, and then fried onions. So that's the definitely rice, lentils, pasta, and some tomatoes and garlic and white vinegar, and people love it. It's super tasty and impressive.
So do you cook it like I know in Persian food, if you've ever had rice, they cook it until the rice on the pot
Crisps.
that's really crispy and beautiful. But if I could learn how to make that, that's the cheap but impressive award.
It would win. I
Just
tried.
like-
It's funny you say that because I literally just tried making that a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't patient enough. You have to be. It literally has to be on the stove for an hour, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. Because I'm going to argue with the Persians. I'm not. What the hell? Anyway, yeah, it's really good. Like, if had I been patient, I would have made it. It got a little crispy, but not the way it's supposed to. But it's not that. It's literally just plain rice, or rice with vermicelli. So that's the first layer. And then the lentils. I always mess up the rice and the lentils when I've tried to cook them together. So I keep them separate now. And then on top, yeah. So it's a fun. The other thing I make, it's cheap but very time consuming. I make really, really delicious grape leaves, stuffed grape leaves. It's not dolmas. It's not the Greek version, because this is I don't make it with meat. I make it with rice, dill, mint, cilantro, parsley, tomato paste, onion, garlic, salt, pepper, and then you wrap it in the grape leaves and cook it. It's
Yum.
one of my very favorite foods.
Yum. That sounds really quite delicious. Oh, you know what else is cheap and impressive that I will make from time to time just because it's yummy? I will get chickpeas and carrots and cut the carrots up into basically chickpea-sized pieces and toss it with olive oil and salt and garlic and, whatever, maybe some smoked paprika or whatever, and roast it until the chickpeas are kind of brown and a little bit crunchy, and the carrots are soft, and it's really, really good. But it's literally chickpeas and carrots and olive oil.
The other good thing that I learned from somebody on YouTube, a famous chef, is so it's a kicking up grilled cheese, all the notches. When you slice like Fuji apples and you put it in the middle of the grilled cheese, whatever, and if you use like really good cheddar or whatever you want to use between so whatever bread you want, cheese, that sliced apples in the middle, more cheese, more bread, and then you kind of, if you have a cast iron or whatever kind of skillet, and you weigh it down almost like a panini, your own kind of panini. I don't have a panini press, but I use something to mush it down, and then it's so good. It took me a while to do the cheese and apple thing, but I loved it. I'm like, okay, I'm sold. That's also
grilled cheese with kumquat list here, right?
That's right. So creative. I'm glad I wasn't a fan of that.
I have to say, my kitchen right now smells really quite heavenly.
Oh, it smells like Christmas, I'm sure. The apples and cinnamon.
Apples
So yum.
and the pears and the ginger. I could probably take it out and show it to you, but it probably needs another 10 minutes before I eat it.
Oh, no, there's no rush. What other questions do folks have? Any others? What's the engagement?
Any other good food stories?
I just texted Tanner a picture of my food. It is not as pretty. I think you're gonna win definitely the aesthetic award this year, Michael. Mine does not look that. I mean, it looks good for what it is, but it's not necessarily a pretty dish. Ooh. Oh, I could smell it, Mike. I could smell a vision. I could smell the cinnamon and apple and
Sticking that back in the oven for a little bit. It really does smell. It really does smell really good. And some vanilla ice cream on that would be great, but I didn't get any vanilla ice cream today. What meal is... Ooh.
what?
So Tracy is asking us about family recipes passed down for generations.
Oh, probably for me, it's the kosheri that I just talked to you about.
Well, we're gonna get a chance to experience some of those next week. Christmas is a really big thing, and so the most passed down generations dish that we have is pasta with walnuts.
Yeah.
And it's like usually like a thin spaghetti or angel hair pasta, and the sauce is olive oil and anchovies and capers and garlic and parsley and walnuts. But the walnuts have to be pounded almost into dust. And they're only done correctly if they are done in the walnut chopping bowl that belonged to my great-great-grandmother.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's what makes it taste good.
So my mother brings out this walnut, and it's about this big. It's about a foot in diameter, wooden bowl with this wooden pestle. And it's absorbed all the nut oils over these, so it's basically non-stick, but it's reddish brown wood, and maybe even from a walnut tree.
I was saying it's from the old country. It sounds like from
Italy.
So
My great grandmother brought it over from Italy, and it was at least her mother's. Yeah. So it was one of those, they were in third class on the steamer ship, and that was very few things that she brought over with her.
What a treasure. Wow.
And so, but the walnut sauce could be made with your walnuts in a food processor, which wouldn't taste great.
This is now sprinkled with all the love from your ancestors. When it's made in that bowl, it feels like it's something everybody has to have at least a bite of, unless they have a walnut allergy. Like everyone's got to have some of this as part of the family tradition.
Yeah, and if the secret ingredient had been anchovies, I might have done that. Because they are the secret ingredient in sauce, because you saute them in the olive oil until they basically dissolve.
It brings here's what's funny. I typed sardines and I really meant anchovies. So I didn't even mean sardines. And I only was thinking sardines because I was in Portugal this summer, and they actually grill fresh sardines, like fresh. I only know the can, well, except that I had fresh ones in Portugal. That was outstanding. But I really meant anchovies.
The only time in my life I've ever eaten sardines were fresh sardines deep fried in Malaga, Spain, which is not so far from Portugal, on my honeymoon. And they were outstanding, but I would just have no idea.
So, yeah, I really did mean anchovies.
You're not voting for sardines.
It's good it was left out, because I really meant anchovies, because anchovies are yum in tomato sauce, really in anything. That's what I learned this year. Fish sauce is anchovies. That's what fish sauce is. It's anchovies. I'm like, look at that. I'm learning things. Maybe I'll still take a cooking. Not too late during the apocalypse. What's an apocalyptic cooking class I could take? I don't know. Every time somebody asks me how I am, I'm like, that's a loaded question nowadays. I don't know how I am,
Right. Well, for a while, the answer was pandemic fine.
Okay.
Right. And then it became, why are you asking me that?
What? It starts to feel hostile. Why? Why are you? I mean, it's not even a benign question.
It's not. So the crisp is out of the.
Ooh.
And I'm going to put some in a little bowl. Have you been eating your dinner, Aisha?
I had a couple of bites, and I'm having fun talking, and I won't be able to talk. I eat like I'm in a race, so I'll eat when I'm done, because otherwise I will be shoving food in my mouth like I won't see food for another 2 weeks. I think it's a byproduct of growing up on welfare for a brief time. It wasn't even that brief. I don't know why I said that. Maybe 7 or 8 years we were on welfare, and I don't know. I'm thinking that could be a byproduct of it, but I've always eaten fast. I don't even even if I at the times I won't eat fast is when like now, like I'm conversing, so I don't feel the need to hurry up and eat. So when I'm having, don't forget, did you send Tanner a picture?
I took a picture of the
Good.
The crisp whole. I'm going to take a picture of the crisp in the dish.
Yay.
So I just want to see how gingery it got, because the pears, they're these beautiful ripe Bartlett pears, and they're so soft and beautiful.
Yum.
Oh, that's really good. I'm really regretting not getting vanilla ice cream.
Do you have yogurt? I mean, it's not as sweet, but
Well, I might drizzle a little half and half over it.
Oh yeah, that same impact. Delicious.
So
wow, what fun! Are we having people vote? What do we do? I mean, I think I'm voting for yours.
I think maybe we can just call it a tie again this year. I'm good with it. These two dishes would make a really wonderful dinner.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Dinner, dessert, really delicious. And did your ginger? How did the ginger flavor come through?
It's gingery and not as spicy as I feared it was going to be, given the giant. I mean, I put like a knob about that big.
Oh, nice.
In there.
Nice.
It is definitely gingery. You can taste it. I haven't had a chunk of candied ginger in the
in any of your bites
in the topping yet, but
that's such.
The ginger flavor kind of pervades the whole thing. It like seeps into the soft fruit, which is nice.
Yay! And I'm drinking now some La Croix. Well, my hat actually broke, so I have to keep it on with the hair clip. I don't know if there's a way I could fix it. It like the it's a headband. I guess I could open it and put a new headband in, but instead I just added it with I'm telling everybody online, like, I don't think anybody likes it.
Not at all.
I like to be.
I think our dishes are done, and we can leave it to the crowd to vote. And we hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for your questions. That was fun. We should probably prep people in advance next time. Come with questions. Listen, there are going to be a bunch of more cooking shows.
Yes.
Come with questions.
Super fun. Come with questions. This was always fun. I love doing this with you, Michael. Super great.
Enjoy your dinner, please.
Thank you. Enjoy your dessert. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.